welcome to the Gospel Road. We're going to look at 1 Peter 2 today. The sights, the sounds, the smells. It's the Christmas season. You could almost say, well, depending on who you are, officially now that Thanksgiving is complete and Black Friday, so everyone's now getting all their Christmas shopping done. Actually, not that I was taking part in it, but I made my way out because I needed to look at a couple new computers, so I was out and about Friday as well. But it's been a great weekend, getting together with family and friends, and of course, dealing with the rest of the month, basically now through Christmas, and if not even through the New Year, that weekends are going to be very busy. I remember someone making the comment, and it's true, because once you hit Thanksgiving, there's almost something planned every single weekend, or at least something every single week, with friends and friends getting together, family getting together, work doing theirs. I mean, I know I have a couple Christmas lunches. I think I actually have one Christmas dinner with one of my jobs too. But it just gets really busy. The shopping, the getting prepared, the getting ready. It's just a really busy time of the year. I mean, we can be busy all through the year, but just this season seems to be one of the busier ones, and we have to remember to just stop and take time out, time and relax, take time for ourselves before we drive ourselves completely insane, which is something I'm not the best at, to be honest. And I was for a while. It started, it got better, and then, not so much anymore, just because there's not a lot that I can do. Let's be honest, not a lot that I can afford. And even taking a break is not even getting a break for me, just with the way things are set up in my life and how I'm doing stuff. And it can be frustrating. It can be overwhelming, because when do you get that break? When do you get away? When do you not think about what's happening? And we have to be able to refresh ourselves. We need to be able to relax. I know I do. I talk with people about it all the time, as I fail to do it on my own. And then falling into many days of feeling overwhelmed. I mean, this weekend I'm getting a nice long weekend because of Thanksgiving, so a 4-day, but at the same time, it didn't feel like much of a getaway. I mean, I'm doing this on a Sunday, so, it's back to the grind tomorrow, but we've got to be able to, as they say, stop and smell the roses. We need to be able to stop and spend time with God. It's very important of how we sit there and find ways that we can recharge ourselves. Because we're not doing the best for others if we're not doing the best for ourselves. And like I said, yes, I say that, and I am one of the biggest failures at it. But I try to do my best when I can. I try to make plans, and I don't always get that done. It's a step at a time. Someday, hopefully, I'll get it figured out. Someday, hopefully, I'll actually be able to do what I'm talking about. All I can do is just do my best to keep trying. Like I said, this weekend it wasn't too bad. Next weekend, though, it's going to be very busy with the Christkindl market. That's an outdoor Christmas market. It's a European market, which they have many places. We just happen to do one here in town as well. 1 Peter 2, it says, "So put away all malice and all deceit and all hypocrisy, and envy and all slander. Like newborn infants, long for the pure spiritual milk, that by it you may grow up into salvation, if indeed you have tasted that the Lord is good. As you come to him, a living stone rejected by men, but in the sight of God chosen and precious. You yourselves, like living stones, are being built up as a spiritual house, to be a holy priesthood, to offer spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Jesus Christ. For it stands in Scripture, 'Behold, I am laying in Zion a stone, a cornerstone, chosen and precious, and whoever believes in him will not be put to shame.' So the honor is for you who believe. But for those who do not believe, the stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone, and a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense. They stumble because they disobey the word, and they were destined to. But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who called you out of the darkness into his marvelous light. Once you were not a people, but now you are God's people. Once you have received mercy, but now you have received mercy. Beloved, I urged you, as sojourners and exiles, to abstain from passions of flesh, which wage war against your soul. Keep your conduct among the Gentiles honorable, so that when they speak against you as evildoers, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day of visitation. Be subject for the Lord's sake to every human institution, whether it be to the emperor as supreme, or the governors as sent by him to punish those who do evil and to praise those who do good. For this is the will of God, that you, by doing good, you should put to silence the ignorance and foolish people. Live as people who are free, not using your freedom as a cover-up for evil, but living as servants of God. Honor everyone. Love the brotherhood. Fear God. Honor the emperor. Servants, be subject to your masters, and with all respect, not only to the good and gentle, but also the unjust. For this is a gracious thing, when mindful of God, one endures sorrows while suffering unjustly. For what credit is it if, when you sin and are beaten for it, you endure? But if you do good and suffer for it, you endure. This is a gracious thing in the sight of God. For to this you have been called, because Christ also suffered for you, leaving you an example, so that you might follow in his steps. He committed no sin, neither was deceit found in his mouth when he was reviled. But he did not revile in return. When he suffered, he did not threaten, but continued entrusting himself to him who judges justly. He himself bore our sins in his body on the tree, that we might die to sin and live to righteousness, by whose wounds you have been healed. For you were straying like sheep, but have now returned to the shepherd and overseer of your souls. 1 Peter 2. This is hard when you think about it. It says, be subject to every human institution. How hard is that? be subject to the authority, the masters, those above you, with respect. Not just the good and gentle, but the unjust. How hard is that? You know, we talk about being more like Jesus, being more Christ-like. But when we talk about that, we seem to look at the Jesus that was turning over the tables in the temple. That's the one we seem to look at. We're not looking at the Jesus that died and rose again. The respect that he's shown when he was going through all of the beatings, being put on the cross. We're not looking at the humble Christ. That's why I say this is hard. You know, we're here to encourage and build up one another, as Christ did with others, his disciples. But we get in our way. We're trying to better ourselves, to be better, to make ourselves better at work, but we get in our way. I mean, I get in my own way. I know I do. I always have. I try not to, but it happens. You know, for the longest time they had those bracelets, which you can still see them occasionally, or at least still for sale, but people are not wearing them like they were. But the whole WWJD, what would Jesus do? Almost turned into a joke because so many people were wearing them and you were seeing them all over. Because I had friends that, or people that would see that and they would laugh at it. It really was just a joke. Oh, there they are wearing that bracelet again. But what would Jesus do? What would he do? How would he treat his neighbor? How would he help his coworker? How would he treat his manager, his boss? Again, I fail. I will say I try. I do. But then I get frustrated, angry, annoyed. I guess you can say that's where the pride steps in. Ego, which we all are fighting that, the human side of our lives. And I do my best to steer clear of it, but I fail. Daily. It's taking that time every day to just sit back, to examine ourselves so we can be the best that we can be. And as we are making ourselves better, we can help others be the best that they can be. To encourage them, to love them, to lift them up, not kick them when they're down. To respect those that are not deserving respect. You know, it's that whole submission to authority, but we want to fight against it. And it's not just, say, a Christian or a believer. It's on both sides. It's a human thing. I don't want to be told what to do. I want to do my thing. Or I can do this better. And sometimes that's not just a slap in the face. And I'm just trying to be smarter, better than you. No, sometimes that's just true. There was a guy that I talked to. We talk on a very regular basis. And one thing he always says, when you're in management, find the people that do their jobs the best. And that's who works for you. Because they do not have to be told, and they're going to do that job better than you can even do it. And that's the way it's supposed to be, because, they can make you look good. Yeah, let's go to that. You want to look good. But they make the team look good because they can work together and they can do their job and they can get it done. Finding the best people that can do those. It's the right people in the right positions. 1 Peter 2. So read that. And how can it help you grow? I know I read it and it kicks me square in the gut. But that's good. Because it can help me to try and be better. To do my best at being better. Thank goodness for God's grace and mercy. But then how am I sharing that grace and mercy with others? How are you sharing that grace and mercy with others? It's important. I stumble. But do I get back up? That's the question. Or do you stay down? 1 Peter 2, read that today. How does it help you? How does it help you grow to be that better person, to be better today than you were yesterday, to be better tomorrow than you are today? If you enjoyed this, be sure to share it with others on social media. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at My Buddy Jimmy. YouTube, My Buddy Jimmy 101. And at MyBuddyJimmy.com. Find my other podcasts that I do and other little snippets that I do throughout the week. Just goofy little things. It is the season. We're hearing all the radio stations. And I'm sure I mentioned this last week. The Christmas music, the Christmas lights. So it is. It is the sights, the sounds of the season. And sometimes, depending on where you are, you can get the smells too. Probably even this week while you're at work, while they're making their lunches, you're going to be getting those smells of the leftover Thanksgiving meals. You're going to go to the mall and you're going to smell some great baking. Maybe even when you go to the store. It's the Christmas season. We are sharing love and we're sharing joy. But how can we share that year-round? Not just during this one time a year, but to do it every single day. Thank you for listening to The Gospel Road. Have a great day. God bless.
Spinal adjustments provided by Dr. Chad Rolfson. The Spinal Tuning Chiropractic Center is a Des Moines area low flat fee per month unlimited chiropractic care practice. When life happens, just adjust. Schedule today at spinaltuning.com.
Barbecue provided by Kenny's Rib Wagon, catering ribs for your pleasure and serving daily at Plaza Pub, 62nd and Douglas in Des Moines across from Merle Hay Mall. Find Kenny's Rib Wagon on Facebook.
The Jimmy Olsen Radio Network.